Howdy, howdy. Welcome to Mug Talks. I'm Benjamin Cahoon. Let's get right into it. Welcome to the very first Mug Talks. It's a vlog idea I had a while back where I come and sit here and talk about some of my favorite mugs that I have and my thoughts for the week, and then maybe answer some of y'all questions later on. Our first mug that we're featuring is mine. I thought it was fitting since we're doing kind of like an introduction video where I talk about starting a YouTube and doing vlogging for the first time. It would be fitting to kind of like show a little bit of my work. This is technically a tumbler, so I kind of cheated on like the whole mug thing, but I think that we can include tumblers in this. And today's beveragino is some Trader Joe's chai concentrate that I put with some Oatly milk and some cold brew that I made to make a dirty chai. This is a wood fire piece that I made out at East Creek Onagama in Oregon. If you want to check out videos about wood firing, I'm going to be making more later on, but there's some on my TikTok of like what that whole process looks like and some of the parts that I enjoy about it. Like I said, this is my first vlog ever, so I thought I'd talk about some of my hopes, fears, insecurities around it, because if we're tackling this thing dead on, I think that we gotta tackle it dead on emotionally too, so that's what we're doing today. So before we get into all that jazz, I wanted to give a little bit of background on who I am, what I do, and all of those good things. Like I said, my name is Benjamin Cahoon. I grew up in Oregon, and that's where I live today. I'm an art teacher. I manage a ceramic studio, and I teach art as one of my full-time things other than making content for you all. And I also do a little bit of design work. So I do interior design, graphic design, and social media consulting. I know it sounds like a lot, and it feels like a lot too, trust me. But whatever you gotta do to put oat milk in the fridge, am I right? So my art background wasn't always in clay. I started off as an illustrator, and I used to love to draw animals, but before animals it was dragons. Oh, I would draw so many dragons. I got into doing like some scratchboard realism in high school. I even won an award and got flown out to DC for a reception with my dad, which was so much fun. And then I went to school for art. I know, risky decision, but it was what I did anyway. When I got to college, I ended up working as a studio technician, just kind of like general at first. I would like clean out the studios and help professors get all of the materials that they needed for classes. But eventually I got the opportunity to start working in the ceramic studio. My first ceramic job was actually in high school as a studio apprentice to an artist named Alyssa Clark. I would help teach her classes, roll out slabs, cut mug templates, and do a lot of her glazing. With that studio experience, I was able to work in the college studio as well, doing the same things. But that is when I got introduced to firing Cone 10 gas reduction, both of which are higher temperature ceramic fire. You get more mature surfaces and some crystal growth and some of the cool things that you see happening here on this mug. I like it because it looks like fire. Tasty. The chai too, but the mug, tasty. After I graduated from college, I started teaching classes at a community cultural center, and that grew up into me getting hired as the studio manager there. So now I manage all the operations, help out with classes and with programming, as well as I teach my own Tuesday morning ceramics class, which I love. And that studio is where most of my practice is, so all of the things that I make in that studio, and most of them are fired there as well. And that brings us up to today. Well, almost. Something fucking crazy happened during the pandemic, and it all started with me being like, nuh-uh, I will never download TikTok. That is a funky dancing app for the kiddos. And then I was just like, well, you know, maybe just a little bit. Maybe I just want to watch some funny videos. That turned into me just like scrolling. But then I was like, but I will never make my own videos. No. And then I started making videos, of course. And when I got back to school and I got back to my studio, I started making clay videos and y'all loved it and I loved it and it was so much fun. I didn't really get any real traction there until I dropped a set of mugs on accident that I was throwing. And you like go back and watch that video and that's like a real reaction. Like I was heartbroken. But you know what? It landed me here, so I'm okay. I just read through those mugs, don't worry. I had to make sure it was recording. I forgot my tripod at home, and so you're like on a stack of books with like a vase. I mean, it worked though. Because of all the incredible support that I received on TikTok and then growing on Instagram as well, I'm able to be here today and be starting my YouTube channel. I didn't really think I was ever gonna do that because the long form content kind of freaked me out. Like I was like, ooh, that seems like a lot of editing. And it probably is. I haven't started editing any of these videos yet. So sorry, future me, but it'll be worth it, right? Right? You'll watch this, please? So half of my channel is going to be kind of like these vlogs where I answer your questions, and then the other half is going to be ceramic tutorials. So me making larger pieces and showing my tips and tricks on how to be a more successful potter and artist in general. My video, how to make a mug in 15 minutes, is actually already up if you want to go check that out. I don't know how to include links yet because I'm a newbie. But I'm sure like it'll pop up on the screen here, at very least linked in the bottom. Be kind on me as I learn the ways of the YouTube, please. We're just gonna tackle this head on and speak about my insecurities, my hopes, my fears, some of the joys, and we're gonna start this thing off right with acknowledgements, right? That's how we tackle life problems. I mean, that's how I try to tackle life problems. Sometimes I'm like, meh. Okay, so we're gonna like build this with starting with some of my fears and insecurities, and then we're gonna like build up to my hopes and my joys so we can acknowledge and move forward, right? I'd highly recommend this to anybody who's starting a new thing and is afraid about it, to kind of like acknowledge the things that you're afraid about, but then be able to turn to like the things that you're excited about, like that you're hopeful for, because both of them are equally as real. And then turn to the things that you're excited about and that give you joy, because those things are going to be way more substantial than the things that you're afraid of. Some odds are some of the things that you're afraid of won't actually ever happen, and so speaking them into existence kind of like lets us get over those, I think. I have to do the whole disclaimer. I am not a therapist. I have never gone to the therapy school. This is just the way that I view the world, and I thought I'd share it with you. If you're going through mental health problems, make sure to see a licensed therapist, not me, but also watch me. Not for therapy. I'm not a therapist. Okay, so some of my fears. Like, number one is that nobody will watch it. I'm worried that I'm gonna throw all of this work into setting up all these platforms, dedicating to long form content, and then like nobody's gonna watch it. Which would be okay, because I don't always make content for other people. I use it to think through things, to document my history, to document some of the projects that I'm interested. But it's also supposed to be a resource to people who want to seek out and find it. Especially like the clay tutorial videos that I'm going to be making later on. My hope is that, oh, we're not moving on to hopes yet. I got ahead of myself. Other fears, that I'm going to get made fun of. I don't know if you noticed or if you're new here. Are you new here? But my name used to be Art Boy Ben, spelled Art B-O-I Ben, like boy. I changed it to Benjamin Cahoon, which is my real name, because I was worried that Gen Z was going to make fun of me for B-O-I. Boy. I think that's valid because like now we bash on like early 2000s culture, like even like mid 2010s, you know? And so I was worried that boy was going to age with me. I think it was a good decision. But if you make fun of me, you know, that's okay, because odds are I'm probably not gonna read the comment and you will just get deleted and blocked. Bye-bye. Do you remember that kid with like the spoons? Like, blocking out the haters. Anyway, but also like laugh at me. Like that's totally fine. You can laugh at me, especially as I'm learning YouTube. Like, Benjamin, this audio stinks. Like, hello microphone, this fuzzy little ball, before I get a Bluetooth one. There's like a purple wire like going down that you can't see, but I just said that I was gonna like say, heck it, we're just gonna film. Because you gotta start somewhere, right? You just gotta go for it. I think a really real insecurity that I have around creating content like this is like, not about the people that I don't know, but like the people that I like interact with every single day. Like if you're watching this and you know me, I am so sorry. Don't do that. Don't watch this if you know me. Like I'm not a shy person. However, if you like bring up my TikTok or anything like that at a party, I'm going to like, so please don't do that. Just a poor soul trying to make educational, encouraging, and entertaining content for the world. I don't know how to speak English. That's some good dirty chai. Okay, I think that we've had enough of giving energy to fears and insecurities. So we're gonna move on to some hopes and some joys. It goes back to the reason why I'm making this content is for myself, for the joy of being able to put out encouraging and educational content into the world, but also because I'm trying to document my progress. My joys are like sharing the knowledge that I have gotten from others and then giving like an opening to conversation for me to learn so much more, because any good teacher will tell you that they learn possibly even more, but at least just as much from their students as they do teach the students, right? I'm here to learn from you, but also about like the whole forming relationships with you as a following. Like that gets me like super excited. I don't know who we're gonna like encounter together, who we're gonna like, I'd love to have like guests on this vlog on Mug Talks. That would be really fun. But right now it's just meh as I'm getting organized. My big hope and dream, like glittering in the clouds, is I want to be like YouTube's Bob Ross or like Steve Irwin of like ceramic education or like arts education in general. But I think that would be so cool because I grew up loving them so very much. So we're just gonna like put that energy out into the world. We're just gonna Bob Ross, Steve Irwin, Clayboy, but not BOI because Gen Z will make fun of me. Another hope and aspiration that I have for this content is for me to be able to monetize it in some way. While I love creating this and will absolutely be creating it just because I want to make it, I also need to pay bills, and this is one way I'm hoping to be able to do that, but we'll see. And then I would say probably my last big hope and thing that gets me excited about this is the possibility of just growing as an artist and as a creator, because being an artist and being a creator doesn't have to be tied down specific to a medium or like a specific style. Like creation isn't, oh God, I got chai everywhere. I got excited about creation. Creation is like an act of like living. It's like something that invades every single thing that you do. So whether I'm creating YouTube videos like this, even though I know I'm gonna be like hunkered down over a computer later, that act of creation is still important in and of itself. It's the same as like pulling up a mug on the wheel or making a big beautiful painting. Or even like baking a pie. I don't know. I love making pies. I'm excited for this experience to grow me as a creator and kind of like open me up to new methods of creation and to be able to share that with you. Well, thank you so much for listening. I can't believe that we filmed this. That it started, that Mug Talks have begun after all of this dreaming and work behind the scenes. Like, it's here, it's now, so exciting. But you can look forward to videos like tips that will help you center clay on the wheel like a pro, how to make your own homemade texture tools, how to get started in clay, how to create a pottery practice when you don't have access to a studio, what it means to be an artist, and balancing social media and creating as an artist. I'm sure there will be like a lot more, and if you want to see more, like let me know, like comment and give me some ideas, because I have some. I mean, it's my job to create content, but it's always helpful when you help me. A portion of Mug Talks in the future, I want to answer questions that you have. I don't know what kind of questions, but just like questions. So if you have a question that you want me to answer at next week's Mug Talk, go ahead and comment it below, and I'm gonna like read through those and select a few. Who knows, I might just like answer all of them. So yeah, make sure that you are subscribed to this account. Oh, this feels very weird to say that. And like this video, because that really does help me in the beginning stages of this growth. Thanks again, I don't know how to end this. Bye-bye. ET's done.